You can hear.
Good morning.
Good
Morning.
morning, Westminster. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning.
Good morning, Boyd.
Hello, Ken. Hello, Carol. Who's that down
Hey.
there? Hello.
It's Kay.
I believe it's Kay Arms. Good morning,
Yes,
Kay.
It is. How are you doing today, Kay?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. It's a beautiful day.
She's doing okay.
Hey,
So
Boyd, what's special
it's
about today?
it's Chinese New Year week, and that's the year of the ox. Chinese New Year is Friday, the 12th, and so we want to be sure and celebrate the year of the ox. Anybody got any Chinese stories?
I
So
think I
have
would.
you ever been to China?
Yes, and Kitty and I went pretty early in the opening up of China to tourists. It wasn't the very beginning, but it was early enough that things were sort of like you would expect under communist China. We went on a river cruise up the Yangtze, and I don't know, a lot of people have done that cruise, but when we got off of the boat, we had to take a bus trip up to Yizhang, I think is the name of the town, where the airport was, and it was like a 4-hour trip from the time that we finally got off the boat, and the boat was late because something around the Three Gorges construction, which was the dam was under construction. So we got on the bus and it was dark already. And we had this 4-hour trip, and the driver said, and we had no dinner, by the way. And the driver said, his name was, I don't know, they all gave him English names, Tommy or something, or Charlie, Tommy, I think. And he said, you're very fortunate tonight because our new translator and guide student, Mary, will be doing the trip description from here to Yizhang. And we all kind of moaned and said, poor Mary, because it's dark. So she will be describing the sights along the way. So we all got kind of asleep, and then all of a sudden the lights went on and Mary was on the microphone, and she said, and on your left is the bridge under which the battle, between the glorious patriots and the traitors, Chiang Kai-shek fought. And then she turned the lights off, and we all went back to sleep. And about 20 minutes over, the lights went on, and she read the script for the next place. And she did that all the way. And everybody was moaning and groaning, but poor Mary, she had a job to do, and she did it. So we got to the hotel finally, and it was 1 a.m. And we went in and said, God, you just get in our rooms, because we have an early plane flight to Shanghai tomorrow. And they said, dinner is being served. Said, no, we don't want dinner. We just want to go to bed. You will receive your room keys after dinner. So we all had to go into the dining room and face this full multi-course Chinese dinner before they would let us in our hotel room. So that was my Chinese trip story. So.
Well, we have a friend who is a world-class pediatric brain specialist, a doctor from Canada, who speaks all over the world, and she was invited to speak at Beijing. And she was just quite complicated getting from the airport to the hotel. Lots of traffic, took her quite a bit of time. She got a little bit discombobulated, and she went in with all her baggage and everything and got ready to register, and she had left her wallet in the cab.
Oh my.
And there's only about 1 million cabs in China.
Yeah.
So the clerk said, no worry, ma'am, no worry, ma'am. And they called, I guess, the cab company to find out which cab had taken her to the hotel. And the cab driver looked in the back seat and there was her wallet on the back seat and he brought it to the hotel.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I don't think that would happen in Washington or
No.
New York City. No.
My China story was back the year before Tiananmen Square. I was invited by being a member of the Mathematics Association 2-year junior colleges to go to China on a people-to-people mission trip. And we were supposed to go to China to talk with other mathematicians about teaching skills and whatever.
Mhm.
And so we prepared, there were about 16 from all over the country. We prepared talks to present, and this was early day computers. And I had a graphics program that I developed on we call them laptops now, but it was a luggable. We actually called them luggables back then because it was the size of a small suitcase.
Yeah.
And we drug that thing through every airport all over China. Had to go through special security, whole 9 yards. Never, ever got to use it because it wound up that they wanted to tell us about their skills and they didn't care about ours at all. No one got to give any program. No one.
Wow. Well, when things go wrong.
It was quite interesting, but it was a really wonderful tour. And Tiananmen Square was no surprise to us because when we were being out in public, just ordinary people, I remember a plumber came to talk to us to practice his English.
Yeah.
They learned English through Voice of Free America. And because we had this kind of a relationship that somehow or another the guide, our guide, felt free to just tell us the really bad stuff. And she was saying how she really resented not being able to ever go to school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that was during, the time when schools were just dissolved. There was no education whatsoever.
Yeah.
And all of the teachers were out in the fields working the field because that's where they sent us.
A lot of artists, a lot of professors, a lot of college professors, banished to the Mao. Yeah.
Yes, because college professors are really good at digging ditches and they're really good at planting crops and tending crops.
They had to be
Say,
read.
Boyd, what does year of the ox mean? What is that, 60?
Oh, the year of the ox. So they come around every 12 years. And
Yes.
the year of the ox is, let me see if I have it written down here.
I was born the year of the rat. Isn't that wonderful?
We just passed the year of the rat. People born in the year of the ox are known for diligence, dependability, strength, and determination. They reflect traditional societal characteristics. For female or women oxes, that's a misnomer, are traditional faithful wives who attach great importance to their children's education. And male oxes are strong, patriotic, have ideals and ambitions for life, and attach importance to family and work, but pay little attention to the opinions of others. So.
Well, I know some people like that, but
Were they born in the year of the ox?
No, I don't know about
So the
that.
year of the ox was 1925, was the in the 20s, and then 12 years after that, 37, 49. So
Well, Kay, we want to visit with you some about, you're known as the games lady in all of Westminster because you have games, you love games, and you include everybody in yours, and also your crafts. So start us off and tell us how you got into the love of games.
Well, my whole family were game players. They were people that, of course, people that were born back in the zeros, the O's, were people that enjoyed card kind of games, so bridge players and that gin rummy and things like that. But my father taught me how to play games. I played games with all my aunts and uncles growing up. My children play games from the time that they were little all the way up. My son is a maniac as far as games are concerned. He has thousands of board games, and we continue to play games. Even during COVID, we're playing a game every Friday night online on Board Game Arena with my two of my grandchildren and my son, and I play. And then I play with him and a couple of friends of ours that live in. My son lives in Albuquerque, so this is not. So some other of the Albuquerque friends play on Tuesday nights.
So what game is that you're playing?
We're playing a game called The Crew. It's a new game, and it apparently is going to be up for the game of the year. These are Euro games, and the Euro games are quite interesting and different and fun. They're all fun. They're
So
all
you learn
fun.
new games as well as playing the old.
Yes, definitely. New games. I still buy games. I have about 250 games in this apartment, which is
Wow.
I think that's
it's a small apartment.
So have board games had a resurgence? Because
Yeah.
computer games seem to be all the thing.
COVID. Especially since COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
And new kinds of online platforms have been created for those two. I play on Magic the Gathering on the Magic Gathering Arena. I play that all the time. So it's a crazy game that I started playing with my grandchildren when they were teenagers, and I kept on playing it. And by that time, it's a collectible card game that it's hard to explain. That actually you can sell your cards for actual money. I had a friend that actually was putting himself through college by buying low and selling high on this card collection.
my goodness.
So
Well, I think I knew one or two college bridge players that made quite a bit of their spending money playing bridge.
well, that's with ones that play for money. Yeah.
I never was I didn't have enough money to risk it, besides not being good enough. But I've been playing fun bridge on my computer, and it's gotten the computer bridge games where you're playing against a virtual opponent or a computer opponent have gotten a lot better since the last time I played them, 10 or 20 years ago.
The IA has gotten really a lot better on a lot of the platforms.
Yeah.
So, well, in general, we're improving with it. anyway, so.
That's right. So when you were playing with your grandchildren and they were young, did you teach them the value of losing, or were you easy with
Oh,
it?
no, my father never let us win at all.
Yeah.
It was ever. You cannot learn skills by being allowed to win.
That's the way my
And-
granddad was teaching me how to play dominoes.
Yes, yeah.
You know what, Kay? You told
My-
me, you told me the other day that you thought children learn more actually from games than they do from school. I'm
They
not
do.
sure what ages you were talking about here, but that was
I'm
pretty
I'm
profound.
talking about from 3, 4 years old all the way up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of the games that my children had when they were little were dominoes that were about this big. They were wooden,
Mhm.
painted white with dots on them, peps on them. And they learned to play dominoes when they were, 3 and 4 years old. And they also learned to count
Yeah.
that way and how to add
Mhm.
and the multiples of 5
Yeah.
and all those important things in dominoes.
They get to school
Right.
and they learned there was a 10.
And they learned that way before they went to school.
Yeah.
Way before they went to school. So when you have a kid who knows how to add, they're coming into first grade.
Step up.
It's,
Yeah.
well, but once kids are ahead, they tend to stay ahead.
Mhm.
You want your children, your grandchildren to excel in school, play games with them now.
Yeah.
And-
Okay. Tell me how, if I were somebody that just moved into Westminster and heard that the solarium area up there is a good place to go to find other game players, what would I want to do, and what would be available? Like, do you have groups that play bridge that are just set that nobody else can come and play, or is there a lot that somebody new could just join in?
When we can get back together again, which I understand is going to be after the 8th, which is soon, next week.
It's today.
We can actually get together and play, and you can just show up at 1:30 on a Saturday afternoon. There'll be a group of us up there in the solarium. We usually kind of hang around and wait until we find how many people are going to be there before we decide what to play. I'll have a lot of games. The games are not, when I first came here, I tried games like a Ticket to Ride.
Oh yeah, I love that.
It's a really fun game that a lot of people know, but it's a game that takes a while to play, and it takes several times to learn, several
It sure does.
to learn the game. And people are not comfortable with that. And so I found that one of the things that people our age are used to is cards that are based with cards. Any kind of a card game is an easy game. And most card games are rummy-based card games. And here's one that we really like called 5 Crowns. It's a card-based game. It's a rummy-based game, but it has completely different rules. And it's the cards themselves are even different colors. They're like a green club. There are actually 5 suits. One of the suits is stars. So now this game is a fun game, and it's one of the games that that I got introduced in my son's gaming group out in Albuquerque years ago. And it was a favorite of their games. Now it says on here that you actually ought to be 8 years old to play it. And I remind my people when we come to play about the age limits on these games, because they need to be playing these games with their greats, their great grandchildren, or their grandchildren if they have young grandchildren in that age range, because there is a wonderful synergy that happens when you're playing games.
Yes.
Mhm.
It is a leveling error. It is I had a grandchild that looked at me when she was about 4 years old, and as we were playing a game, she said, "I'm not going to call you grandma. I'm going to call you Kay because we're equals when we're playing."
Oh,
Oh, wow.
And not only did it become that we're equals, with my family playing games, it became, let's gang up and beat grandma. This was the whole thing, I'd have all 3 of them at once coming at me on a game. It's all right.
I bet you showed them how.
Well, at one point, yes, I did. And now they showed me how. But
They learned well.
I can still hold my own, sort of. But I will admit they're in their 20s now. So
They're supposed to be nice to us at that age.
yes. Well, one of them is still 15. And that one really, really, really wants to be grandma. really, and it's very disappointed when he does. He does a lot, but
Well, we don't want to let you go without hearing about the other thing that you do so much of, and that's the crafts up there, and how everybody can come in and work on something if they want. Is that right?
by the way, everybody can come and play games. We're equal opportunity. Men can do it too, It's mostly women because we are mostly women at Westminster after all, statistically. But anyway, okay, for cards, when I was moving here, I had a very large craft room with a lot of craft stuff. And I gave away a bunch, but then I thought, I called up here and asked if I could donate it. So I donated scrapbooks and papers and embossing and die cutting, all sorts of wonderful toys. And Ruth talked with Ruth about the possibility of starting a group to make cards for the people in homes for Presbyterian children's homes and villages. And she thought that was a wonderful idea as an outreach for this community as well. So we started doing that. I contacted them and they gave us 2 homes that are in San Antonio. One of them is a transitional home for teenage girls who, once you get to be 18, you're out of the system. So as far as Texas is concerned, but not as far as Presbyterians are concerned, they won't just throw you out on the street. You can go into a transitional home and stay there until you have a job, an apartment, a way to exist on your own. And so there's that home. And then the other one is a home for women with children that are, some of them are no longer married, some of them have come from an abusive situation or just single parents with children. So there's groups of single women with children that live in this home. And this changes over time because some of them, there's hope for them to also get their own place and skills to support their family. But we have birthdays, so we make cards for birthdays for them. Well, on February, we had no birthdays for our people. And so my friend Janet Maxon said, why don't we make Valentines for the people over in the harbor? So we have been making Valentines for the people over in the harbor. And I'll show you. Now we make red on white on red or red on white, either one. And we just take paper and all these wonderful things we have to play with, punches and knives and whatever. And we just have fun. We just
Sounds fun.
do all sorts of, just use our imagination, use our fingers. We're one of the things we're doing is fighting Alzheimer's. Using our creative side of our brain helps prevent Alzheimer's. Using our fingers and our hands helps prevent Alzheimer's. Using social skills and cooperative skills helps prevent Alzheimer's. And say a lot of the same sort of thing about the cards and the game. So on all of these endeavors, we're trying to make ourselves healthier. We're doing mental yoga, but it's fun. It's not like exercise.
It sounds wonderful, and I think you all do a lot of good and have fun doing it.
Yes.
Yes.
Come and join us. All you have to do is, we're going to be getting back together again. So let's get back together again.
Soon. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kay. It's been
you,
very interesting, and thank you for being on our show and showing us what all the possibilities are out there.
Yeah, I think that you've given the residents here that may have just moved in or something, maybe new, or maybe some older ones too, some opportunities here to participate in something that sounds like so much fun.
Well, and some of you all may have some ideas about something else to do that we could all do together. Just talk to Ruth. She is really good about facilitating any sort of resident that wants to start an activity. And it's the activities that draw us together and help us learn about each other and help us enjoy this place.
She's a real treasure, Ruth is. Yeah. She's really.
What's coming up?
What's coming up?
Speaking of Ruth, she always has all that stuff. And
yeah. The dining room's reopened today, Monday, right? And Ruth, and tonight is poetry night for Valentine's Day by Westminster Poets. That ought to be good. And then Ruth has gone over, she's really outdone herself while celebrating the Chinese New Year. Tomorrow afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, there's a Chinese street food tour in New York. So we won't get that food, but we'll get to see it. And then after that, there's a Chinese National Opera and Dance Drama Theater's Jiaojun Shensai, I think. I don't know. Have you all seen Chinese opera? Have you, Kay?
Yes. Yes. Very, very traditional in the traditional costumes,
Yeah,
very, very traditional.
very traditional. Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes some getting used. What am I going to say? It's an adjustment to watch.
And the Oriental scale is not do, re, mi, fa, so.
That's right. And then on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, she has a film on the traditions of Chinese New Year. And then that evening, she has a movie, The Last Emperor. And then on Thursday, she has the Beijing Bamboo Orchestra on the Millennium Stage, followed by Chinese dances. And then she ends it up on the actual New Year on Friday with Gone with the Wind.
Oh, okay.
And I'm assuming surely that's a Chinese version of Gone with the Wind, but you'll have to tune in to find out about that.
And surely she's going to have live fireworks outside of the building at the very last.
Could be. I don't know.
I'll never doubt you. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's about it, I think, for today. Thank you again, Kay, for being with us.
Thank you. Enjoyed it.
Good.
Thank you, Kay. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. Boy, good to see you.
Good to see you all. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. Thanks to Kay Arms for being our guest today. And of course, thanks to the cooks. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.